Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jason. Good evening, Nerd Fighters. I wanted to talk about Jason's last video about alternative universes, and this is actually something that I tend to think a lot about too, because I think about decisions that are made and the consequences that can come from them if they're the wrong decision, or what the alternate decision could cause. It's something worth looking into because you're never entirely sure what a certain decision is going to lead to. You said one thing you mentioned was if there was a discovery of a new fuel source, could we perhaps have a Star Trek future? And I think something similar to a Star Trek future, maybe, but not quite as utopian. Something a little more like the Firefly universe. I think that you would have, the government agency, the Federation, the Alliance, whatever you want to call it, and then you would also have the people on the fringe, because there is still that class issue. And that's something they dealt with Star Trek every now and again. Every now and again you would come across that kind of situation in Star Trek, but it was never quite as severe as it is in reality, or as it is in other shows and other ideas of future worlds. One thing that I often think about is possible dystopian futures. Because I just have this fear that with the way everything is going, we might wind up in another huge conflict. But, so we might even have that, Road Warrior Mad Max future, which would just be, horrible. But, I mean, there is a possibility that, maybe, and I think the way things are going, I think we will have something akin to a cyberpunk kind of world after a while. I don't know when that might happen, but it would definitely be interesting to see, because of the way electronic devices are getting. It's getting to the point where you can store so much in a little thing, and eventually it's going to be the size of a chip, and they're going to be able to implant it right into your head. And it's funny because I remember, what was that? I think it was like early mid 90s, somewhere in there, where they first started talking about the idea of implanting a television remote in your head. And that scared the crap out of me back then. Still kind of does, because I don't know about tech being just seriously inundated into your brains. I don't know. It disturbs me greatly, because it's that intrusion. It would be kind of like in Futurama when Fry has that first dream ad go through his head. It'd be something similar to that. Think if you had people that could pretty much hack your thoughts and either rewrite them or implant something that's of their creation. That's worrying. That's what that is. I don't know. Jason brings up some very interesting topics, and I'd like to see them discussed further. But that's where I stand on it. I'm very leery of most outcomes as I can think of them now. I don't have much hope for a utopian outlook of life based on where everything is. And I would love for it to be that way. I would love for, there to be peace in the world and everybody to come together, and we have something more like Logan's Run, minus the life day scenario, because that would just, I'm 28, so I wouldn't have too much longer in that kind of future, and that kind of bugs me. I'd definitely be a runner. I'd be interested in a cyberpunk kind of future. Anything, because I do enjoy tech, but I'm extremely worried of the possible consequences that I could have. I don't know. I just don't know. But that's all I'm going to say today. I'll see y'all later.
There is no sanctuary